Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to our today's class. We are on chapter 6, and the objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. We are on chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga. This chapter is in 5 sections. We have completed the first section, advancing in Ashtanga Yoga. Dhyan Yoga is also called Ashtanga Yoga. It is eightfold yoga. And we'll be starting today on the second section, which is from Shlok number 10 onwards. Yeah, this is the stages of Ashtanga Yoga and practices. So we'll be talking about the various stages of Ashtanga Yoga and practices. Just to summarize what we have done in the last class, in the first and second shlok, we read about yoga and sannyas is the same. So Krishna says yoga and sannyas is the same, and then he talked about that there are 2 levels of Ashtanga Yoga. There are 2 levels. First is Aruruksha, and the advanced stage is Arudha. Aruruksha and Arudha. Now this eightfold yoga is what are the 8 folds? We have yam, we have niyam, we have asan, we have pranayam, we have pratyahar, we have dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. These are the 8 steps in Ashtanga Yoga, right? Now the beginning 4 stages, which is yam, niyam, that is do's and don'ts, then asan and pranayam. This is called the beginning stages or Aruruksha. Aruruksha is basically preparing, and that's what we discussed in the last class. We talked about, and then the advanced stage, which is starts from pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. That is the Arudha stage, that is the advanced stage, right? And we read in the 5th and 6th shlok that it is the most important thing is to control the mind, and mind is both a best friend and an enemy, right? So mind is both a best friend and an enemy. If we use it in the right way, then it is in the controlled way, then it is a friend. But if we let the mind loose, it is the greatest enemy. And we talked about the example of a knife, a fire, and a car. If a person who has drunk alcohol and is driving the car, then what happens? The same car becomes an enemy. It can cause lots of accidents. But similarly, if the person is an expert in driving the car, then it is the best of friends. Similarly, knife in a child's hand is an enemy. Where the knife in a expert's hand, you can create a lot of things. It's the best of friend, right? Then we talked about there's someone who has controlled the mind. Yeah. So the person, what is the symptoms of that person, right? That is the advanced stage, the Arudha stage. What are the symptoms? He is jitatmana prashantasya. Prashantasya is he has got unprecedented peace. Someone who has who has controlled the mind, he has got unprecedented peace, and then he actually stays along with the super soul. And then for him, Shitoshna, heat and cold, Sukh and Dukh, Man and Apman, honor and dishonor, it is all the same. And also it says for such a person, whether some Loshtashram Kanchana, whether it is a pebble, whether it is a gold, it is all same. It doesn't matter. Once you have the knowledge and you have realized Jnana Vijnana, you have realized the knowledge, then for that person who has controlled all the Indriyas, it is same, right? So today we'll be starting from shlok number 10, advancing in Ashtanga Yoga. And here what we are talking about in this particular section that we'll be taking today, it is more Krishna is talking to Arjun, and he's telling about what are the requirements to be a yogi. Now he's talking about who can be a yogi. So we know about, previously he's talked about do's and don'ts, mind control, and now he takes us to the next stage. He says, shlok number 10, yogi yunjita sattatam
Yogi yunjita sattatam
atmanam rahasi sthita
आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा
एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा
निराशीर अपरिग्रह
निराशीर अपरिग्रहः
योगी युञ्जीत सततम्
योगी युञ्जीत सततम्
आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा
एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा
निराशीर अपरिग्रह
निराशीर अपरिग्रहः
माताजी
योगी युञ्जित सततम् योगी
युञ्जीत सततम्
आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा
एकाकी यत चित्तात्मा
निराशीर अपरिग्रहः
निराशीर अपरिग्रह. So now he talks about yogi. So what is how the yogi has to be? Yogi yunjit satatam. Satatam is always. Satatam is always. And yunjit is he is always should engage his body, mind, and self in in Krishna, in the Supreme. He should always satatam yunjita. He should also always be connected to the Supreme. Atmanam rahasi sthita. Rahasi means in a secluded place. Sthita, where should he be situated? Sthita is situated. He should be situated in Rahasi. Rahasi is a secluded place. So, ekaki. Ekaki means he should be alone. He should be alone. Yat chitatma. Chit and Atma. Chit is consciousness and Atma is mind, body and soul. This Nirashir. Nirashir means should be free of desires or parigraha and should have no feeling of possessiveness. That should be the state of a yogi. So let's read the English translation. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feeling of possessiveness. Right? So now here Krishna is describing how and where the yogi should be. So first thing he says, the yogi is the satatam. He is always thinking about the God, always in connection with God, and he should be in a secluded place. Now here, what is a secluded place? Go to a forest. Forest is supposed to be in the mode of goodness, right? That's why we say that, okay, when you think about yogi, we think about Himalayas. That is a natural connection that we get. Okay, we'll go to Himalayas. That's the first thing that comes to our mind, right? So the forest, the Himalayas, these are basically the mode in goodness. Yeah. Now city is in the mode of passion. City is in the mode of passion. And then the pubs and all, they're in the mode of ignorance. And temples are beyond the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. It is a transcendental. It is beyond. So if you are in a city, then we go to the temple. Do otherwise, create your home as a temple. You cannot go to temple again and every day. So make your home as a temple, so that it is actually you have your God. Your whole life should be drawn and should be with Krishna in the center. Live your life, right? And so if you cannot go to Himalayas, then create that environment at the home, so that you can do your sadhana in the right way. So yogi yunjit satatam atmanam rasi sthita ekaki. Ekaki means be alone. Because if more than one person is there, then chatting and other things will start. So you need to be alone. And yet chit atma. Chit is consciousness and mind, soul and mind. Control the chit, consciousness and mind. Nirashir, free from desires, and we don't have and don't have any possessiveness, because as soon as you have something, you will get into. So we know the story of Bharat Maharaj, right? Bharat Maharaj, he left his whole kingdom. The king Bharat, who was actually the ruler of the entire world, and specifically on his name we have our country's name as Bharat. And what he did, he left everything and he wanted to take sannyas, and he went to forest, and there he saw a deer. who was pregnant and was getting, who was pregnant, and the hunter was he was about to shoot the deer. And before dying, she actually delivered a baby. And the king Bharat, thinking that who will take care of the baby, got the baby with himself in his ashram and got so attached that in his next life, when he was dying, he was thinking about the deer. And what happened? In his next life, he became a deer. The only good thing that happened was he had the consciousness, he had the memory of his previous life, right? So it's important that you are free from desire and don't have any feeling of possessiveness, right? Now we go to the next shlok number 11 and 12. Shuchau deshe pratisthapya
देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
sthiram asanmatmanah
स्थिरम् आसनम् आत्मनः
natyuchitam nati nicham
नाति उचितं नाति नीचं
chailajin kushottaram
शैलाजिकुशोत्तरम्
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
स्थिरम् आसन आत्मनम्
स्थिरम् आसनम् आत्मनः
न न अत्युचितं नाति नीचम
नात्युचितं नाति नीचं
चैलाजिन्कुशोत्तरम्
शैलाजिकुशोत्तरम्
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
यत् चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिय
यच्चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिया
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्याद्
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात्
योगम् आत्मविशुद्धये
योगमात्मा विशुद्धये
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
यत् चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिय
यच्चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिया
उपविश्यासने युज्याद्
उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात्
योगम् आत्मविशुद्धय.
योगमात्मा विशुद्धये.
माताजी.
शुचो देशो प्रतिष्ठाप्य
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य
स्थिरम् आसनम् आत्मनः
स्थिरम् आसनमात्मनः
नैति उच्चिरितं
नैत्युचितं नाति नीचम्
शैलजां कुशोत्तरम्
चैलाजिन्कुशोत्तरम्
तत्र एकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा
येत चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिया
यत् चित्तेन्द्रियक्रिया
उपवासने
उपविश्यासने युज्याद्
योगम् आत्मविशुद्धये.
Visuddhaya. Now here Krishna says, how should be the place for the yogi where, now he talked about go to a secluded place, right? And be alone. Now he's talking about the place. Shuchau deshe. Shuchau means pure. Shuchau is
Pure.
pure. Pure deshe. The land should be pure. So what we do, it's like for us, it is a place of pilgrimage, right? Like we go to Mathura, Vrindavan, Himalaya, Rishikesh, Haridwar. So these are the Shuchau place, or near Ganga, Yamuna, Kaveri, Godavari. So these are the auspicious river near there, right? Shuchau deshe prasisthapya. Go and be situated in a Shuchau deshe. Prasisthapya means place yourself. Sthiram. Sthiram means sthir. It is stable. Sthiram asan. The asan on which you should put an asan. Asan should be sthir. It should be fixed. Atmana and fixed mind. Yeah. Na ati uchitam. Na means no. Ati means more. Ati uchita. Neither it should be too high. Na ati nicham. Neither it should be too low. The asan that you have, neither it should be too high nor it should be too low. Chailajin kushottaram. And there what you have to do? You have to actually kusha is a grass. Kusha is a grass. You put the kusha grass first, and then on that you put the deer skin or the tiger skin, and then you put a soft cloth on that. Yeah. So chailajin kushottaram. A soft cloth. Then you put the skin, The first you put the kusha grass, then you put the skin, deer skin, tiger skin, then you put the soft grass. Tatre kagram, and then tatra, then there ekagram. Ekagram is concentration, in a full concentration. Mana kritva, then in full concentration, do your mind in full concentration. Yat chit, yat chit is consciousness. Indriya kriya, indriya is senses, and kriya is activity. And control your consciousness, your senses, and your activities. Upvishyasane yujyadya. Upvishwasyane yujya is, then what you do is, then practice, and then you start purifying by purifying yourself by yog atma vishuddhya, and then you sit there upvishyasane, and on that you sit upvishyasane, you sit on that, and then do your yog to purify your atma vishuddhya atma, to purify your mind and soul. You sit on that, you sit and do it. Correct? So let us now read the English translation. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low, and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities, and fixing the mind on one point. Clear? So now Krishna is describing that where he should go. So the place should be secluded, should be a purified place, more of a a holy place, and it should be it should be you have to make your asan there, and that asan should be not that you are moving here and there. It should be sthit. It's your asan. You have to sit on it. Upvishyasane yujyadya. Then you sit on that and do your yoga. And why are you doing yoga? To clean your mind, atma, yat chit indriya. You have to ekagra, concentrate and control your mind, and then what you have to do, and the senses, right? And your asan should neither be too high, should not be too low, and should be, we have talked about kusha grass and all, right? Now it is very important that asans of the yogi should be fixed and should be used by them. One cannot go and you start using another rishi's ashram asan, right? So there is a story on that. This is from the Puranas about two rishis, that is Vedashila and Ashwashila. There were two rishis, and what happened? Vedashila had a hut near Ganga, and he used to sit there and he had his asan there, and he was doing his tapasya. Now one day when he went to take bath, another rishi in the name of Ashwashila, he came and he occupied the asana of Vedashila. Yeah. And he started his meditation. Now when Vedashila came, he said, "Who are you? Why are you sitting in my asana?" So the Ashwashila asked, "What do you mean by your asana? You are a rishi. We don't have a place. You can go sit anywhere and do any asana. So why are you claiming this is your asana? I'm sitting here, so this is now my asana. You can go somewhere and start doing your tapasya." He says, "No, this is not right. This is my head. This is my asana. Please go away from here." And then there was a discussion, argument started between both of them. And in the first rishi, who was Vedashila, he got annoyed with the rishi who had occupied his asana, and he says, I curse you to become a crow. Yeah, you are going and occupying other places. I curse that you become a crow. And then she says, "And you are unnecessarily hissing like a serpent. So I curse you to become a serpent." Yeah. In the meantime, Vishnu ji comes and he says, "What are you both doing? You both are great devotees. Why are you doing all this thing and cursing each other? Don't you know if you curse each other, your curse will come true? But anyway, I will come for your uddhar, I will come and deliver you. But because you have cursed each other, the first Rishi, which is Vedashila, you will become Kalia, and I will dance on your hoods and relieve you. The snake Kalia, Krishna danced on the hoods of Kalia in Vrindavan and delivered him, right? And because you have been now cursed like a crow for the crow, so you will become Kakbhushandi, the crow, and you will actually have the knowledge of the entire thing. That's the story of Kakbhushandi and Kalia. So they were actually two great rishis. So you should not occupy the asanas of another rishi. Normally, when you do your prayers, you have your asana, and you actually should never sit on the floor when you are doing whenever you are doing any spiritual activity, even listening, you should never sit on the floor. At least you should have a cotton cloth, a woolen cloth, or a silk cloth there, because what happens, we say, we talk about short circuiting, yeah. So our things, spiritual energy goes down. So what we have to do, we have to actually block it by 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 these things. It actually retains, you retain it, right? Okay, so now what we saw, it's such a difficult work to do, especially in this Kali Yuga, finding a secluded place, going there, and then concentrating and being alone. And I don't think, it's easy for everyone to go ahead and do that. And especially in Kali Yuga, when there is so much of, degradation has already happened. So the easiest way to come out of this material world in Kali Yuga is by chanting the holy name of God. And it says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nama Kevalam, Kalau Nashti, Eva Nashti, Eva Nashti, Eva Gatir Anatha. He says that in this Yuga, the only way out of this material world is Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam Kevalam. And why does it says three times? He wants to stress it again and again, that don't try XYZ. It is not easy. It is not easy to go to such places and can concentrate. You will lose your thing. So the easiest way to come out in this material world is Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam Kevalam. Do the chanting, do the chanting, do the chanting. Listen to the God and listen to the Krishna Katha. Enjoy the kirtan, enjoy the bhajan, and then go eat the prasadam, pray, and then come out of this material world, right? We go to the next slok. That is 13 and 14. Samam kaya shirogrivam
Samakaya Shirogrivam
dharyan achalam sthira
Achalam Stira
samprekshya nasikagram swam
Sampreksha Nasikagram Swa
dishas chalan avalokayan
Dishaschana Valokayan
prashant atma vigadbhirya
Prashantatma Vigatrira
brahmachare vrate sthitat
Brahmachari Pratestita
manah sanyamya manchittau
Mana Samyamya Machito
yukta asita matparah
Yukta Asita Matparaha
samam kaya shirogrivam
Samakaya Shirogrivam
dhayan achalam sthiram
Dharayan Achalam Stira
samprekshya nasikagram swa
Samprekshya Nasikagram Swam
dischana avalokayan
Vishyastanavalokayan
prashanta atma vigadbhira
Prashantahatma Vigadvira
brahmachari vrate sthitah
Brahmachari Vrate Stitaha
manah sanyamya machitto
Manasamyamya Machito
yukta asita matparah
Yukta Asita Matparaha
Samam kaya shirogrivam
samam kaya kshirogrivam
achalam stira
dhayan achalam sthirah
samprekshya nasikagram swam
samprekshya nasikagram swa
dishashchana
dishashchana
Prashantatma vigadbhir
Sant atma vigadbriha
chari rate sthitah
brahmachari vrate sthitah
manasayam chitto
manah sanyamya machitto
Yukta asita matparaha.
Mat asita mat paraha. Now here in this slok 13th and 14th, before slok 11, 12, he explained how to sit, how to prepare and sit there. Now, how to meditate. Here Krishna explains what is the process for meditating. So he says, samam kaya shiro grivam. Yeah, kaya is body, shiro is your head, and griva is your neck. So sama, put all these things in the straight line. Dharyan, achalam sthira, and without moving. Sthira, sit without moving. Some preksha nasikagra. Nasika is your nose. Agra is your in the front, in the tip of the nose. Look, your sampraksha is look at. Look at where to look at. Nasikagra. Look at the tip of your nose. Your eye should be focused at the tip of the nose. Swam. Dishash cha anavalokya. Avalok means to see. And here Krishna says, dishes, don't look at any other direction. Your eye should be positioned and focused on the tip of your nose. Prashant Atma. Prashant is peaceful in a very peaceful mind. Vigat Briha behavior. Vigat behavior means without fear. Brahmachari vrate sthita. And you have to take up Brahmachari vrat. Brahmachari vrat means free from sex life. Free from sex life. Sthita. Mana sanyamya. Control your mind. Mat chitto. And where do you control and focus on what? Mat. On me. Focus on me. Yukta. Yukta means get connected. Asit matpara. Sitting in that, you matpara. Think about me and you'll come to me. Make me as the ultimate goal. So let us read the meaning of this shlok. One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Right? So here Krishna says, first he is talking about the when you're sitting, how exactly the meditation happens. You have to sit straight with your head, neck and your body in the straight line and sitting in a very sthit. Yeah, and your focus has to be on your nose. Now you have to follow brahmacharya. You have to be abstaining yourself from the sex, because as soon as you are involved in that, what will happen? Your mind cannot be calm. It will actually get distracted here and there. So very, very important to be away from that and then control your mind. To control your mind, these things are very, very important. And then we know that for the yogi, they actually pray to the super soul sitting in the heart. They actually focus on they try to realize the super soul in the heart. We know that the absolute truth, which is Krishna, is seen in three, can be realized in three modes. One is the Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, in the Brahma, then is in the super soul, in the heart, and as Bhagwan. Right? Depends upon on which stage you are in your journey, spiritual journey. Accordingly, you will get attracted to that particular form. Right? We talked about that story about how a mountain which is green, when you are flying down, you start seeing only a green mountain when you are far. Yeah, mountain is always there. It is there. But when you are far, you can only see the green color of the mountain. When you come more close, then you can see that it has got some trees, some huts. When you get very close, you can see the cows, houses, people there, right? It is the same thing. The absolute truth is same. It is the aham in the form of Brahma, in the form of super soul, or in the form of Bhagwan. The only thing is how much you have advanced the journey. Accordingly, you will get attracted to that particular feature form. And when you come there, it is like when you are driving in a mountain, what happens? You can only see the road till a particular level. But when you reach at that level, then you can see the road, next road. Or then you can see, you think that this is the highest mountain, but when you reach there, you see, oh, there's another mountain here. So similarly, when you reach at that stage, and you still, if you are in a mood to, if you are in a journey, or want to know more, then Krishna will reveal himself. He says in the 10th chapter that when you want to know more, I reveal it to you. I reveal myself to you. So it all depends upon, if you have achieved there and want to see more, then you will actually see the next form. You will go to the next step, super soul, or then you will reach the. So either you can, unless you have directly got, you are very lucky and have got association of a bhakta, you can become a bhakta directly. Otherwise, you will have to have your journey of this. Okay. Now we go to the next shlok. Shlok number 15. युञ्जनेवं सदात्मानं
युञ्जनेवं सदात्मानं
योगी नियतम् आनसः
योगी नियतमानसः
शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां
शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां
मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति
मत्संस्थाम् अधिगच्छति
युञ्जनेवं सदात्मानं
युञ्जनेवं सदात्मानं
योगी नियतमानसः
योगी नियतमानसः
शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां
शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां
मत्संस्थाम् अधिगच्छति.
मत्संस्थाम् अधिगच्छति
माताजी.
युञ्जन् एवं
सदात्मानं
योगी नियतमानसः
योगी नियतं मानसः
शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां
शान्तिं निर्वाण परमां
मत्संस्थम् अधिगच्छति
मत्संस्थाम् अधिगच्छति. So here Krishna says, so yujjanevam sadatmanam, and yogi, after this, doing this, after he has taken, he has taken the position, and when he starts meditating, that we read in the last shlok, what happens? Then his sada atmana, his mind is totally fixed in me, and when he's fixed in me, then what will happen? Yogi niyat manasa, his mana is always fixed in me. He will achieve shantim nirvan param. He will get param shanti. He'll get param shanti and much sthanam, and much sthanam, and he'll come to me. Adhigachati means he'll attain my abode. Mat sthanam adhigachati. Mat is my, sthanam is my abode, will go, right? Let's read the meaning of it. Thus practicing constant control of body,
thus practicing constant control of the body,
mind and activities, the mystic transcendentalist,
the mystic transcendentalist,
his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God
attains to the kingdom of God
by cessation of material existence.
by cessation of material existence.
Right? So when this is the journey of the yogi, how he has to be in secluded place, how he has to sit in an asana, in what location he should sit, how he should meditate, and when he is doing that for a long time, what will happen? With focus in his atma, super soul, he will actually finally reach the abode. Right? We go to the next shlok. Na atyashanatastu yogisti न चैकान्तं अश्नतः न च अति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन. So here Krishna says to Arjun, "O Arjun, na atya ashnastastu." Ashna means food, eating. So if someone is eating too much, atya ashna is eating. If someone is eating too much, na chekanta anashata, neither if someone is eating too less. If he is eating too much or he is eating too less, na cha ati swapnashilasya, neither if he is sleeping too much, jagrato neither, or he is awake for a long time, in any of these possibility, then what happened? So he won't achieve me. He won't be the right yogi. So he says, so Mataji yourself, can you please read? Na atyasnastatu yogisti Na chaikantam anashnatah. Na cha ati swapnashilasya. Jagrato chaiva charjuna. There is no possibility of once becoming a yogi.
There is no possibility of one becoming a yogi.
O Arjun,
Oh Arjun,
if one eats too much
if one eats too much
or eats too little,
or eats too little,
sleeps too much
sleeps too much
or does not sleep enough.
or does not sleep.
So basically, the yogi also,
Should be balanced.
it should be balanced. The yogi also needs to eat, sleep, and that too in a balance to ensure that he is in a position to do yoga, right? He in any of the extreme condition, he will not. If he is eating too much, he will feel sleepy. If he is eating too less, he is hungry and he will not be able to concentrate. So in any case, if you are sleeping too much, Vaishnavi, close the door. If you are sleeping too much, then you cannot focus on God. And if you're sleeping too less, then you are again not normal to not having the peace to focus, right? So it's Krishna says that again food and sleep also has to be balanced. Now 17th shlok, Krishna says, now continuation of the shlok, yukta ahar viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu
युक्तचेतस्य कर्मसु
yukta sapnavabodhasya
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
yogi bhavati dukkha
भवति दुःखः
युक्त आहार विहारस्य
युक्तहारादिकारस्य
युक्त चेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तचेतस्य कर्मसु
युक्त स्वप्नावबोधस्य
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
योगो भवति दुःखः.
योगो भवति दुःखः.
वैष्णवी,
युक्ताहारविहारस्य
युक्त आहार विहारस्य
युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्त चेष्टस्य कर्मसु
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य
नासबोधस्य
योगो भवति दुःखः.
योगो भवति दुःखः. So now here Krishna says, yukta ahar viharasya. Ahar is again food. Ahar is eating, right? And vihar is recreation. Vihar is going around, right? So yukta is regulated. Yukta is regulated, connected. The ahar, the eating, whatever you are doing, the eating you are doing, that should be regulated. You should eat prasadam, you should be controlled. Vihar, the recreation that you are doing also should be controlled. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu, the activity that should also be you are doing should be controlled. Not that you are working so hard that you don't have time to focus on God, or you are wasting you so much time that you don't have time to look for God. Yukta swapnava bodhasya, and swapna means look, your sleeping should be regulated. And when you do all those things, yogo bhavati dukkha, and then the yogi he'll become what? Dukh means sad, pain, and ha means diminishing pain. He will not have any pains. His all pains will get reduced, right? So let us now read the meaning of it. He who is regulated
He who is regulated
in his habits of eating,
in his habits of eating,
sleeping,
sleeping,
recreation,
recreation,
and work
and work
mitigate all material
can
pains
mitigate all material pains
by practicing the yoga system.
by practicing the yoga system.
So how can we regulate our ahar? We cannot go and eat anything anywhere. Yeah, we have to be very careful if you want to proceed, if you want to be a yogi and move forward in your spiritual life. Your ahar has to be regulated. Ensure that you're trying your best to eat something which is always a prasad, which is offered to God, then eat. So that will restrain you to go and eat anywhere, right? Then vihar, when you are going for recreation, see that you are going to a place of worship, pilgrimage. So wherever you're going, you are actually, it is also you are surrounded by Krishna, the thought of God. Yeah. And when you're working, you have to work to earn, but then your working should not be so long that you are so tired that you are not getting any time for to work for God, to take care of your home, to work for God. And don't sleep so much that you are so lazy then that you are not able to manage the God. And when you can do all these things, then what will happen when you can regulate it? Then the yogi can become free from pains. Yeah. We go to the next shlok. Shlok number 18. Yada viniyatam chittam
Yada viniyatam chittam
atmanevat tishthate
atmaneva vatishtate
nispriha sarva kamebhyo
nispriya sarva kamebhyo
yukta itya uchyate tada.
yukta itya uchyate tada.
Yada viniyatam chittam
Yada viniyatam chittam
atmanyeva tishthate
atmaneva vatishtate
nispriha sarva kamebhyo
nispriya sarva kamebhyo
yukta itya uchyate tada.
yukta ityuchyate tada.
Vaishnavi.
Yada viniyatam chittam
Yada viniyatam chittam
atmanyevavatishtite
atmanyevavatishtate
nispriham sarvakamebhyo
nispriha sarva kamebhyo
yukta ityuchyate tada.
yukta ityuchyate tada. Now here Krishna says, now when will he achieve it? Like when he has achieved the perfection. So he's talking about yada. So we talked about in the previous few shloks, he talked about say how he's sitting, how he's meditating, what sort of ahar he should be taking, how he should be sleeping then. And now he says yada, when he's doing all these things in a vinyatam chittam. Vinyatam is disciplined. Chitta is your consciousness. When you have disciplined your consciousness by all those processes, atmaniyat and your atma, your mind is situated. Tisthate is situated within. Then what will happen? Your mind will get situated within nispriha. Nispriha means free from desire for all material activities. Sarva kamebhyo. Then what happens? Yukta. Yukta is connected. Yukta itya uchyate dada. Then you are always connected to Krishna. Yeah. So let us now read the meaning of this. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities
disciplines with mental activities
and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires,
devoid of all material desires,
he is said to be well established in yoga.
he is said to be well established in yoga.
Okay. Yeah. So till now, when for a normal human being in India, who is not in a spiritual path, yoga only means asanas. You are doing various types of asanas, and that is what is yoga. But yoga is not only asanas. Yoga has those eightfold process. You have do's and don'ts, and asana is only the method to control your various postures so that your mind, body, they get aligned and controlled. And then you do your pranayam by your breathing exercise. Pranayam is a breathing exercise. You again try to control your mind, and all these are arudha stages. When you do all these things, you are actually preparing your body to go into the next stage, which is arudha stage. And then what you do? Pratyahara. You start closing your senses. Pratyahara is basically closing your senses from outside world. And then you do dharana. Slowly you start, and then you do dhyan. Dhyan is meditation for a long time. And then samadhi. The last is samadhi. So now here we are going to do the next few shlokas, which talks about when you are doing all these things, then you reach samadhi, and we talk about that in the next few shlokas. Okay, then here, before we go there, it talks about how is it that, yogi, how can you say that he has reached perfection? So we go to the next talk, which is 19. Yatha deepo nivatastho
Yada deepo nivasasto
nengate sopama smrita
nendate sopamasmata
yogino yat chittasya
yogino yachittasya
yujato yogamatmanah.
yujato yogamatmanah.
So here Krishna says, yatha, just like deepo, deep, the flame of a deep, right? Lamp. Ni vatastho. Vat means wind. And ni vat means without wind. Stho is situated. Stha is situated. Now imagine when there is no wind. If a deep is in front of wind, what will happen? The flame will keep on moving. It will keep on flicker. But what will happen if you are putting a flame in a closed room where there is no wind coming? What will happen? It will be stable. It will not flicker. It will be so na nengate. Nengate means engate means flicker. Na nengate means it will not flicker. So Sa upama. Upama means analogy, Smrita. So here Krishna says, just like the lamp, when it is kept in a windowless room, and just like the flame does not flicker, in the same way, the yogi, when he has controlled his consciousness, yogino yat chittasya, when he has controlled all his consciousness and is in deep meditation, then yunjato yoga atmana. What will happen? It will get connected to yoga atmana, in his atma, the super soul. It will get connected to that. Yeah. And let's read Mataji, read the Sanskrit one. Yatha Deepo Nivatastho
Nengate sopama smrita.
Nengate Sopama Smrita
Yogino yata chittasya.
Yogino Yat Chittasya
Yunjato yogam atmanaha.
Yunjato Yogmatmanaha. So let's read the meaning. As a lamp in a windless place
As a lamp in a windless place
does not waver,
does not waver,
so the transcendentalist,
so the transcendentalist,
whose mind is controlled,
whose mind is controlled,
remains always steady
remains always steady
in his meditation
in his meditation
on the transcendental self.
on the transcendental self.
And so here the flame is getting compared to consciousness. We can think about another example. Think about a pond. When you look at deep inside the pond, the water is actually very stable. But then if you look at the surface of the pond, there'll always be ripples. There'll be ripples, right? Now, if you're seeing on a full moon day, reflection of the moon on the water, what will happen? On the surface, if the ripples are there, it will be not a complete nice one. But when the surface is totally calm, when there is no wind, the surface is totally calm, then you can see the full reflection of the moon, right? Similarly, when the consciousness, when we have we have controlled our consciousness, and when we have not allowed things, we have controlled our mind, then what will happen? What will happen? Our mind, our atma will be pure and will become pure, and then we can see the super soul inside. Then what will happen? We will be able to see the super soul inside. We can meditate and see that. But because our consciousness is always like, our mind is like a pot with lot of holes, and the holes, it's like full of water, and if there are holes, what will happen? The water will keep on draining. And that is how we treat our mind. Our mind has lot of holes, and all these holes that we have is pointed towards the external world. It keeps on running towards the external world and the pleasures of the external world. And that is why we actually suffer, because those material world that we are trying to do, whatever we are hankering for in this material world, whatever you will achieve, it will always be something better than that you will have, right? So we have to plug all those holes of the pot to get the water contained in the pot. Similarly, it means we have to control our mind so that we are able to be situated in a very controlled manner. And when we have controlled manner, then we will be able to see the super soul inside our heart, right? And the biggest reason for why our mind runs here and there, it is because of lust, anger, and greed. Lust, lust is, we saw who's the example? Ravana, taking away someone's wife, Ram's wife. Then anger and greed, right? Anger and greed is Duryodhan, who wanted even others' land also, and greed, like we saw. So very important is, out of all these things, lust is the biggest enemy. Why? Because even the anger comes because of lust. When we want something, it's not only anything that we are looking for externally. If we don't get it, what will happen? We get angry. So what is the main cause? It starts from lust. Yes. Lust is a desire to have something material, and when we don't get that, we'll start getting angry. When we get angry, we fall down. Our consciousness falls down, right? So what we need to do? We need to convert this lust into the love for God. So if you continue to chant, pray, what will happen? Our lust will actually get converted into love for God. Now, this is the last 3 sets that we'll be taking today. This is the height of what happens, the final, how it's the samadhi, the final stage of achievement for the yogi. So let's read this. 20 to 23. Yato paramate chittam
यत्रो परमते चित्तम्
niruddham yoga sevaya
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
yacchevatmanatmanam
यच्चैवात्मनात्मनं
pashyannatmani tushyati.
पश्यात्मनि तुष्यति
Yatro paramate chittam
यत्रो परमते चित्तम्
niruddham yoga sevaya
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
yatra chevatmanatmanam
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
pashyannatmani tushyati.
पश्यात्मनि तुष्यति
Sukham atyantikam yat buddha
सुखम् आत्यन्तिकं यत्
buddhi grahyam atindriyam
बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियं
veti yatra na chevayam
वेति यत्र न चैवायं
स्थितः चलति तत्त्वतः.
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
सुखम अत्यंतिकम यतद
सुखम् आत्यन्तिकं यत् तत्
बुद्धि ग्राह्यम अतीन्द्रिय
बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियं
वेति यत्र न चैवायम
वेति यत्र न चैवायं
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
यम लब्ध्वा चापरम लाभम
यं लब्ध्वा च परमं
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः.
मन्यतेनादिकं ततः
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
गरुणापि विचालयेत्
गुरुणापि विचार्यते
तं विद्या दुःख संयोग
तं विद्या सुखसंयोग
वियोगम योग संगितम.
वियोगं योगसंहितं
Yeah, Mataji. Mini?
यत्रो परमते चित्तं
यत्रोपरमते चित्तम
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
निरुद्धम योग सेवया
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति.
सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तद्
सुखम आत्यंतिकम यत्तद्
बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियं
बुद्धिग्राह्यम अतीन्द्रियम
इति यत्र न चैवायं
वेति यत्र न चैवायम
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं
तं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
मतेराधिकं ततः.
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
गुरुणापि च विचार्यते
गरुणापि विचाल्यते
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग
तं विद्याद् सुख संयोग
वियोगं योगसंहितं
वियोगम योग संगीtam. Now here Krishna says the situation of someone who has achieved the samadhi, what happens. Yeah, so here yatro paramate chittam. Now it's all related to the previous slok. We talked about how everything yogi is doing and how he has controlled his mind, and he is now looking at his mind is fully controlled and is focused on the inner the super soul inside the heart. So in yatra here is talking about all the previous thing that we have learned about the yogi. And when upparamate chittam, upparamate is calm, Upradesh kam chittam. Chittam is, so when he is total, when he has done all these things, his chit, his consciousness is totally controlled. He is devoid of any material desires, is totally controlled. Yeah. Now here the word chit and chit, chit and chit, there are two different meanings, and I would like to explain that. Chit is basically consciousness. So when, how we say, when the soul is there in the body, there is consciousness, right? So when you have a consciousness, and it is like, we all sitting here, we know that, we are in a room, or even if we are in a theater, we know that, we are sitting in a theater, we have people around us, we are sitting in a chair. So this is the consciousness of the environment around us. But what happens when a movie starts? When a movie starts, we get entangled in the movie that's happening. We get emotionally entangled on the scenes that is happening, and our reactions also starts happening as if we are a part of that movie. We start crying, we start laughing, right? We start getting, so all those emotions, it means our chit gets entangled at that point of time. So that is what he's saying, that when chittam, when you say chit, here it's basically when your chit has got entangled. Now here he's saying that when before by doing all those process, you have actually removed that entanglement of your chit. You are now right now you are free from all those entanglement and you are totally calm. Then what happens? Niruddham is basically the samadhi, the final stage of meditation, which is the samadhi stage, yoga sevya. By doing the yoga, when you're in situated there and you're focusing on the super soul inside that and you're doing the yoga seva, then you achieve niruddham. You achieve basically the samadhi state. Yatra chevatmanam atmanam pashyanatmi tushyati. And when you are totally aloof and totally focused inside your heart, super soul, then what happens? You are pashyanti, you are seeing. What you are seeing? You are seeing the super soul inside. Atmana, inside you are seeing the super soul, and tushyanti, you are totally satisfied. By saying you're totally satisfied, and how do you feel then? When you are totally absorbed and seeing inside, when you're totally control your mind, and your focus is totally, you're in the super soul inside, and you're totally out of all those things which is which is at a physical plane or a mental plane, and you are actually in a spiritual plane and you're seeing the super soul inside. Then how do you feel? Sukham atyantikam. You feel height of happiness. Atyant is height, but atyantikam means is a like ultimate happiness. What do you feel when you are totally in the spiritual form of, and you are in samadhi and you are actually focusing in that? Then what the feeling that you have is extreme ultimate happiness. Sukham atyantikam. Yeah, buddhi. And then what is happening? That buddhi grahyam atindriyam, and all your senses, all your buddhi, everything is now, it's all purified, all controlled, and you are in everything is in transcendence. Your sense, you are totally in the spiritual platform. You are atyant happy. Veti yatra na chevayam sthitam chalyati tatvada. At that point, veti means one knows, yatra na chevayam, and then you don't have sthitam chalyati tatvada. And then when you have achieved that tattva, that's the super soul inside your heart, the tattva that you achieve, then there's nothing you want more than that. There's nothing greater feeling that. And when you have achieved it, then what happened? Yam labdva. Labdva means getting that. Labdha means to get that. Yam labdva. When you have got that, cha aparam. Aparam means it is beyond anything. Aparam. Labham. Then any other labh, any other profit, when you have attained that, any other profit, manyate adhikam tata. There's nothing more. Adhikam, no adhikam. There's nothing more than you have achieved the super soul inside and you're concentrating on that. Yasmin sito. And when you are in that state, na dukhen garunapi vichalyate. And even if you are facing extreme, miseries, nothing with vichalyate, nothing will disturb you. Nothing will disturb you. Tam vidyad dukha sanyogam. And then what happened? Tam vidyat. Vidyam, Dukh sanyogam. Viyogam. Viyog means the separation. And dukkha sanyog. Everyone faces the dukh in their life. But then you will get viyog of that dukh. You will not, viyog means renunciation. You will not even feel that dukh that you will face. Yoga sanyogam, when you are absorbed in the Supreme Lord. And here I wanted to tell a story of Dhruv Maharaj. And I think all of us know the story of Dhruv Maharaj, but I wanted, reading this shlok, I was reminded of the story. Or let's read the meaning of this first. In the stage of perfection called trance, or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained.
One's mind is completely restrained
From material mental activities.
By
Practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized. By one's ability. To see the self. By the pure mind. And to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state. One is situated. In boundless transcendental happiness. Realized through transcendental senses. Established thus. One never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken. Even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom.
Actual freedom
from all miseries
from all misery.
arising from material contact.
Arising from-
Understood? It was a long shlok. Have you understood the meaning of this? And this is very, very clearly seen in Dhruv Maharaj's life. And who was Dhruv Maharaj? He was, we all know about Manu and Shatrupa. We had been hearing about that, right? Manu and Shatrupa. And their son was Uttanapad and Priyavrata. They had two sons, Manu and Shatrupa. And Uttanapad's son was Uttanpad had two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. And Suniti's son was Dhruv. And Suruchi's son was Uttam. And what happened? Suruchi was the stepmother. So she was the younger queen of Uttanpad. And Uttanpad actually loved Suruchi a lot and never cared about Suniti. Dhruv's mother. And one day when Dhruv was 5 years old and he wanted, Uttanpad was already, the Suchi's son was already sitting in the king's lap. And when Dhruv wanted to sit on the lap, what she did, Suchi said, no, 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 you cannot sit on his, and she spoke very loudly in the court that how can you sit in the lap of Uttanpad, your father, if you want to sit here, you have to be born from my womb. You cannot, you are not entitled to sit on his lap because you're not you're not my son. And if you want to be my son, you go and do your prayers, and then when you are reborn from me, then only you will get entitled to sit here. Now, listening that Dhruv was a Kshatriya, he was 5 years old, he got very, very angry. He went to his mother and said, what is this? Tell me why it's so. She said, yes. Now she said she was Uttanpad never bothered about her. So she said, see, son, I cannot do anything. And whatever your mother said, Suruchi said, is absolutely right. Because you're not born from her womb, so you will not be able to sit there. And if you really want, then you will have to, what she said, go and pray to God, you will get there. So he said, okay, where will I find the God? He said, he says, I've heard that all the Rishi Munis, they go to forest. He is somewhere in the forest. And Dhruv, 5 years old, being a Kshatriya, all determined, he went in search of God to Narayan to forest. When he went there, Narad Muni came and he started searching for God. Now, Narad Muni seeing there, Vishnu was seeing from top, he was already seeing Dhruv Maharaj that, he's searching for, looking at just 5 years old, he is wondering what's happening. And then Narad Muni was saying, Narayan, you're so small. All these things happen. Your mother just scolded you. How does it matter? Why don't you go back? But Dhruv was very determined, nothing doing. I am going to find and I'm going to get, I'm going to meet and I'm going to get a kingdom which is much, much bigger than the kingdom of my father. And I have to show that, I can get and I will pray and I'll get it. With all that determination, when Narad saw that his determination is so, it is so much. And what he did, when Narad saw his determination is so strong, he actually gave him a mantra. What was the mantra he gave him? It is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That is a mantra that was given by Narad Muni to Dhruva. And then what did Dhruv do? Dhruv actually continued meditating, and his meditation was so strong that finally, and he was concentrating on the super soul inside the heart. And because of his meditation, everything, there was everyone got so scared, and the demigods went to Vishnu, and he said, and Dhruv Maharaj was actually concentrating on super soul, and he was in deep meditation, and suddenly his meditation broke. And he was like, what has happened? And then he saw the Vishnu standing in front of him. And then he asked, and because he was like, he never knew what to say. And then when, he wants to say his prayers, but he doesn't know what to say. Then Vishnu touched his head by conch shell and he got all the gyan and he started praying to him. And then he said, okay, so Vishnu says, I know why you are doing prayers. I will give you a kingdom which is much bigger than that. And we know that Dhruv Tara, that pole star, which is there, which is much bigger than your father. And then he says, how stupid I could be. When I've seen you, what else I need? I am totally satisfied. I don't need anything now. Yeah, but because he'd asked for that and Vishnu gave him that, right? But the thing is, he said no. When he started, he wanted the kingdom. But when he realized it, he never wanted anything. He just wanted him. Yeah. So that is the thing. When when you are in this path, finally, you don't need anything. You just want the God. So with this, we'll end today's class. So let's chant the Maha Mantra and then we go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.